Thank you so much. So good morning. My name is Nancy Martinez, and I'm the proud president of the Charlestown Resident Alliance. The CIA represents of the Bunker Hill and advocate for fair, equal, healthy, and affordable housing opportunities in our community. We do this because Bunker Hill is special. It's not a building. It's not just buildings. This is our home, and we deserve a safe, comfortable, and united community. When we first hear about the redevelopment, there was many questions. How could this building be improved so everybody has a safe and comfortable place to live? And now we have our first building right here, almost complete. Thank you so much. After years of work, the CIA was able to see some of the new apartments last week. Wonderful, beautiful apartments. Through this process, we list to our residents about their hopes, fears, and need for this redevelopment, and we are so happy and proud to become them back to those homes. I want to thank everyone who support us and help us to get here today. Thank you to our partner, Kenzie Cobb. Kenzie, thank you so much for your help. And the Boston Housing Authority, Leggett McCall, and Corcoran. Thank you to our advisors and all the CIA board members and staff, past and present. Thank you, Mayor Wood, the City Council, and the City of Boston for your support of this project on the next building. And thank you to the residents of Bunker Hill. Thanks, everyone. It is an honor to represent you in this building, this community. Now I'm very excited to introduce Mayor Wu. We are also glad you're here, and we're excited to continue to work with you as we make better life for our family. Thank you, Mayor Wood. Thank you, Mayor Wood. We love Mayor Wood.
And we love Nancy and the CIA. Can give her another round of applause for all her leadership. Thank you so, so much. I know it's been a long process for the residents of this incredible community and the residents of the neighborhood and all of the many, many partners who are assembled here. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your persistence. And we're very excited about the progress that we'll be able to make with today's announcement and all the support that's gathered for it. So thank you again, Nancy. I want to thank all of the many, many hands who helped make today possible. The Charlestown Resident Alliance, the elected officials who are here. We're going to hear from everyone, so don't worry, and I think these seats are going to get filled in as some more are on the way from different parts of the city, which just shows the incredible support for housing and housing affordability that we have in City Hall across all various agencies and across the council and administration, as well as our partners at the state and federal level as well. So thank you to City Council President Ruth Lujan, your District Councilor Gigi Coletta Zapata, City Councilor Sharon Durkin, City Councilor Enrique Pepin, City Councilor Henry Santana. You're going to hear, and thank you to Devin from the Planning Department, Sheila Dillon, our Chief of Housing, Crystal Cornegay from Mass Housing, who will come up here right after me, Kenzie Bach from the Boston Housing Authority, Ashley Goffenberger, our Chief Financial Officer, who has worked really hard on this proposal, State Rep Danny Ryan, and you will hear from Adia Tamra in a little bit afterwards as well. So I want to just double down on how rare it is for us to be in a neighborhood celebrating a citywide announcement with the support of so many of our councilors. And it truly has been a council-wide effort. Councilors, of course, Councilor Coletta Zapata has been here, I hear, basically every week advocating for the residents and trying to move this project forward. Council President Lujen, who's been steering this body to make sure that we're taking action and doing so with the urgency of this moment. Councilor Worrell and Councilor Mejia, who had sponsored some of the hearings on bringing advocates and developers together to move this project forward. Councilor Santana, who has been advocating for more public housing since taking office and particularly pushing on this idea of using a revolving fund. And again, Councilor Worrell pushing for home ownership in particular alongside many of the community members to be included in the work that we're doing. And thank you to Rep. Ryan and Senator DiDomenico, who isn't here right now, for their work at the state level to move forward with the Healy Driscoll administration's Momentum Fund, which is an important piece of how we'll be able to expand the impact with the dollars at the city level as well. So we look forward to amplifying and stretching the value of every investment. We're here in the work to keep Boston families in Boston. Crystal at Mass Housing and many community partners, you have been setting a national model for how we think about using every possible tool. At the city level, we're doing so with as much as we possibly can to make Boston a home for everyone. Every department and every agency is focused on making our city the safest, greenest, most family-friendly city in America, with opportunities for every generation. But if you can't afford to stay in the neighborhood you love and that you helped build, everything else feels a little besides the point. And that's why we're tackling housing from every angle. In the last 3 years, we've invested more dollars and created more programs to make housing affordable than at any other time in the last 30 years of Boston's history. We've built more than 500 new units of affordable housing and permitted nearly 2,500 more. Our office to residential conversion program is creating more than 600 new units of housing in downtown Boston. And between our BHA First Home program and the Boston Home Center, we've helped more than 600 families buy their first homes in just the last few years. Last month, we celebrated our acquisition opportunity program, securing more than 1,000 market rate units across Boston and making them permanently affordable. That's a big milestone all on its own, but the timing also reinforces the urgency of this approach. Because when the program first launched, the goal was to get to 1,000 homes, 1,000 families by 2030. But together, with dedication and focus and resources, we got there 5 years ahead of schedule, and we're aiming for even more. Last year, we approved more than 16 million square feet of new development in Boston, a 10-year record for that kind of approvals. There's no shortage of interest in investing in our city, but for the past several years, the financing environment has been incredibly challenging, and we've been working with our partners in the business community and particularly at NIOP and across the city to make sure that we could listen and understand what tools at the city level might make a difference. We know that in Boston, there are nearly 30,000 approved housing units just sitting there waiting to be able to get started. We need to do more, and even as the Fed's interest rate adjustment provided a little bit of relief and made it a little bit easier for the city to step in and help close financing gaps, we're looking to build new approaches and use every possible tool. That's why a few months ago we announced that the city would create a housing accelerator fund to kickstart housing production across all our neighborhoods. And on December 2nd, will officially file the appropriation with the City Council for their review of the creation of this fund. Thanks to the leadership of Crystal Cornegay and Governor Healy's administration, we'll be able to pair our $110 million investment with Mass Housing's financing to make a serious difference for the developers who are eager to create the kind of housing that Boston needs. We hear from those trying to move their projects that if you're looking to get financed right now, prospective equity partners want 15% back when the project sells. There's so many competing ways for that investment to happen, and the financing environment has been incredibly challenging. With our Housing Accelerator Fund, just like the Momentum Fund, we're willing to make sure that we're providing more appealing lower rates of return to make it easier to finance the costs of actually getting housing built and doing it now, because that's what matters most to Boston families. These units that will have the chance to move into construction not only will be new homes for our residents, will help to ease the housing crunch that is the top issue for families across our neighborhoods, but will also then contribute to the city's tax base as we look to continue growing and having resources to provide and fund city services. So for the projects that are at least 20% affordable housing, ready to start construction, and that prioritize sustainability, community impact, and diversity and leadership, our Accelerator Fund will knock down some of the biggest barriers that have been holding projects back. And with matching from the Commonwealth's Housing Momentum Fund, Boston and Massachusetts are once again leading the way when it comes to incentivizing housing development and still getting a return on investment for our communities. We're excited that the first project to benefit from this innovative fund will be right here in Charlestown, the very first neighborhood that Boston families called home hundreds of years ago. Thanks to the public-private partnership between the Boston Housing Authority and Leggett McCall, the Bunker Hill Housing Redevelopment Project will replace 1,100 public housing units with a mix of nearly 2,700 public, income-restricted, and market-rate units, plus retail and green spaces, creating a vibrant community hub in Boston's oldest neighborhood. Behind us, you can see the first new building that's going up, and we've already cleared the space for the next one. Because of the financing environment, though, we've experienced some challenges and stalls that our partners at Leggett McCall haven't been able to manage on their own. Our Accelerator Fund will change that. The 265 mixed income units that the Charlestown Resident Alliance has poured so many hours into planning and advocating for will finally be brought to life. Of course, our hope is that with the partnership of everyone here today, leaders on the council, at the state level, in our development community, and in our neighborhoods, this will be the first of many more projects that will finally be able to break ground. We'll look to use this fund to not only kickstart this major public-private partnership, but also private projects that are already approved and in the pipeline, including homeownership projects that have been a clear point of focus. And as we continue to explore and innovate solutions, we're also working with developers to identify potential opportunities to leverage this fund or similar tools to create more middle-income opportunities for Boston families, rental and homeownership. So today is proof that we, when faced with great challenges in Boston, can work together to find creative solutions. And we will do that whatever the larger environment is. I'm so thankful to everyone who helped get us to this point with the brainstorming, the mapping out, the assessment of all the different numbers from all different directions, and especially to the residents of this community who remind us every day what it is that we're fighting for and how important it is that we move quickly. So thank you so much for being here. I am honored now to pass it over to Crystal Cornegay of Mass Housing, and then we will hear from our elected officials who are here. I think I also saw Senator DiDomenico, who arrived as well. And then we'll hear from Leggett McCall and then NIAP.
Brr. I left my jacket in the car. I don't know what I was thinking. I do housing finance better than this, I promise. Thank you all for having us. Folks from Mass Housing, wave your hand. Yay! I'm going to do a little bit of history. So Mass Housing is a housing finance agency, which is kind of a technical term. Every state has one. Some states have more than one. Of course, New York has two. How can you not if you're in New York? And Mass Housing is the first housing finance agency that got started in the 60s to finance mixed income housing. Now that sounds like a thing today. You say mixed income housing and people are like yawner. But in 1966, that was a big deal. And the first major project that the agency financed was Harbor Point. Those of you in Boston are familiar with that. And, big low-income community, and refinanced that and really changed how that community thought about itself, how the city thought about that community and its interaction with the other businesses and agencies around it. And we have stuck to that tradition. Charlestown is just another example of us doing what we do. It's in our DNA, really creating a mixed income community, investing in the folks who are already here, and helping them open their arms to new communities. So congratulations to the residents of Charlestown. And as we look upon the housing crisis across the Commonwealth, we actually understand in the Healy Driscoll administration that the way to get that done, the way to attack that, is to really think about how do we focus on investing in mixed income communities. Right? And so that is part of what led the Healy Driscoll administration to create the Momentum Fund. And it really is about providing flexible capital to private developers to make sure that we can get those deals that are on the sidelines off of the bench and into production. I'm looking at the gentlemen with their jackets on. Hi, guys. My son also works in construction, and I'm just like, I need to build houses for y'all because he can't live with me. I don't want him home. And so, and that's not necessarily affordable, but it needs to be affordable, right? And so that is the kind of thing that we focus on. How do we make a place for everybody? Because strong communities are made up of everybody and welcoming to everybody. So we're super excited to get this fund going. Looking forward to working with Boston to invest in some of your deals. I see some developers here who are hoping to get investments from us, and really excited about today. Now, I'm not going to go sit down. It's cold back there, so I'm going to go over there and stand in the sun. It's not anything y'all said or did. I just don't have a jacket. So I think there's a counselor coming up next, Mayor. Do I know who it is?
Charlestown electeds and then any other council.
Charlestown electeds. I'll let y'all figure that out. I forgot my coat. I can't figure out. Okay.
Thank you to our Queen, Crystal. I'll volunteer as tribute as the first Charlestown elected, but happily today is such a joyous day. Today really marks a pivotal moment in Boston's journey in becoming a more inclusive and affordable city. I'm honored to join residents, and I'll call each and every single one of you out because it's been a long journey to get here, but I'm so honored to be in partnership and here with the residents and my colleagues in local state government, celebrating the launch of this much anticipated Housing Accelerator Fund, which is bold and creative and will invest up to $100 million in jump-starting residential construction across the city. It's not just about the brick and mortar. It's about empowering our residents, our communities, addressing the housing affordability, and building a future where everyone has access to dignified housing. Having the first investment take place here in Charlestown at the Bunker Hill Housing Development is a testament to this vision, breathing life into an ambitious housing transformation project fueled by public and private investment. I want to center and show gratitude to the residents. And I think back, I've only been around for a couple years. First, I was chief of staff to my predecessor, Lydia Edwards. But even going back to 2018 and even before then, I think of people like Tiara Murphy, Bernard, Mimi. Then it was Betty, Phil, Tina, Jenny, Monique, Carla, Mandy, Kathy, Noemi, and everybody. I'm so sorry if I missed you. It's a mistake of the head and not the heart, as our Congresswoman says, but just congratulations to all of you. You've attended countless meetings. You've persevered through unexpected challenges. You've lived through conditions of what it's like to have progress stalled due to rising interest rates and construction costs. And despite it all, they've remained steadfast in their advocacy. And I'm so proud to be standing with you all today during this turning point. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much. This moment highlights Boston's visionary leadership and commitment to sustainability and equity. By tying investments to returns that can be reinvested, we're creating a revolving opportunity to grow our housing stock while strengthening our tax base. It's a strategy that reflects thoughtful leadership and a deep understanding of our city's challenges and opportunities. I want to be sure to thank BHA Administrator Kenzie Bach, my friend, for her vision and creativity. Thank you to Mayor Michelle Wu, Mass Housing, MOH, everybody. Of course, while I'm here, I think of the late Bill McGonigal, former BHA administrator, and just how effective he was with his tenacity in fighting for public housing residents. I'll never forget the first meeting we had with him and Kenzie when she was working for him about financing this project and just how important it was to Charlestown and the residents here. I want to thank Lydia again, my colleagues in state government, State Senator Sal DiDomenico and State Representative Dan Ryan. I want to thank my staff member, Elaine Donovan, who was at the original meetings and has just been, again, tenacious in her own advocacy and just really centers the lived experience of Charlestown residents. To every partner, developer, and advocate who has worked tirelessly to get us here, thank you. I look forward to having this appropriation through the council and passing it expeditiously. Thanks, everyone. I'll now pass it to Senator Sal DiDomenico.
Danny and I were fighting for who's going to go up next. He won, he said, yes. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here with all of you today. It's great going after my friend, Councilor Coletta, because she said it all and she put it in a perspective that we can all understand and realize that housing really is a right for individuals across our Commonwealth. And my phone is ringing, it's probably my wife, but housing is a right. And when we try to put things into practice, you know, we file legislation, the governor files legislation, and it's text on a piece of paper. And you hope that what the intent is for that legislation comes to fruition. And today we can say without a doubt that that is a fact. Momentum Fund, partnering with the Accelerator Fund from the City of Boston, is going to create housing for thousands of more residents across the City of Boston. And I want to thank Mayor Wu, Michelle Wu, who has been a leader on creating housing, mixed-use housing, affordable housing, housing for all in the City of Boston. This is another testament to her legacy going forward. And I also want to thank the Hillary Driscoll administration, Under Secretary Konigay, who is the smartest one in the group going into the sun right now, and my partners in local and state government and the Boston Housing Authority. Kenzie Bach was a former colleague of ours. This is a great day for the residents of Charlestown, but a great day for the City of Boston. And I just want to end with this because, you know, when all this construction was happening and these plans were brought to the residents of this neighborhood, particularly the residents of this complex, it was our responsibility and the responsibility of the folks that brought that message to them to let them know that better days were coming. And they all knew that there would be some bumpy roads along that process. Turning this into what you have there to what you see today looks great when it's all finished. But the process to get to this point is not an easy one for the residents of this area. So I want to thank them for believing in the mission, for believing what was to come, and now, as time has gone on, they will see the fruits of their labor and get what they deserve. Get what they deserve. So I am just happy to be here today as State Senator, but more happy just to be someone who has supported this community and seen this community grow and welcome all residents, and more importantly, just happy for the residents of this complex who are going to finally get housing with dignity, as the councilor said, something that we can all be proud of. Thank you much, everyone. Have a great day. No, I love doing this. I love doing this. And now I have the honor of introducing Charlestown's favorite son. Charlestown's favorite son. I can't compete with them in Charlestown, so I don't even try. Our state representative and good friend, Danny Ryan.
Thank you, Senator. It all works out. He takes care of me in Everett, so that's good. And I wanted you to go first so I wouldn't have to thank all those people, so that's good. I want to thank everyone he just thanked. And the mayor, of course, for showing this commitment to the promise we made 10 years ago, promise myself and Sal DiDomenico, Senator DiDomenico made to the residents in the CRA, that we were going to pay attention to public housing that the federal government had walked away from the days when my parents walked these streets and lived in these buildings. And we had to find a new and innovative way to allow residents to stay in a place where they were born if they chose to, or where they could come back if they wanted to. And as I say that, I also used to have the distinct honor of being the only elected official when I got elected from Charlestown. That has all changed. It was a bittersweet election for me because I no longer hold that distinction. Councilor Pepin is from Charlestown. Welcome back. It's kind of like welcome back, Carter. Who would thought they lead you right back here where they need you, huh? I'm showing my age, huh? You know, do you remember that show? But anyway, those are the dreams we're trying to fulfill here. Markets will change. We have to innovate. Governments will change. We will see that. But our values must remain. The commitment we made 10 years ago to the residents of this housing development remains. We are here. We are steadfast. City, state, hopefully the federal government will be here to see this through. And that's why I'm here today, to thank everybody for staying with us and to make my commitment to seeing this project through. Thank you. Whoever's next. Sorry. Council President Roxy LeJoyne.
It's Louisiana, but you did. It's really hard to follow the Prince of Charlestown, but I'll try. Hi, everyone. City Council President Ruth Louisiana. Just very happy to be here with everyone, with people like Nancy. This is all about community and listening to community. We want to see more shovels in the ground. That's what makes a prosperous city. That's what makes us be able to be the resilient city that we are when we are making sure that our residents are housed, making sure that we have jobs. So I want to thank the mayor, I want to thank Administrator Bach, I want to thank all of my colleagues, I want to thank Crystal, I want to thank everyone who is working together to make sure that we are addressing the crisis in our city, which is housing. And so it's important that we're here. My first hearing was about how do we use our fiscal strength as a city to build more housing, to build more schools, so that everyone can live with dignity. And so I'm just so happy that we're doing this. So thank you again to the mayor's administration, the residents of Charlestown. Y'all deserve this. It's great to be here, you know, down the street, Harvest on Vine, and the great work that folks do every day to show up for our residents here in Charlestown. It's a privilege to be here with you, and I'm excited to see this Accelerator Fund and all we do for our residents across the city of Boston. Thank you. Next, I'd like to call up Councilor Durkin.
Thank you so much, Council President, and thank you so much to Mayor Wu. It's wonderful to stand in front of a perfect example of a project that can be unstuck by resources that the city is going to match with the state government. It's great to be here with my colleagues in government at the state level, and thank you so much to our council colleague, Councilor Gigi Coletta Zapata, for having us in her district. It's been an incredible time being a District 8 councilor, but one thing I hear from the business community often is how hard it is at these times with the high cost of labor, the high cost of construction, and the high cost and just inflation in general to get projects off the ground. And anything that we can be doing to build housing, support development in the city only helps us, and it makes our jobs easier. It means that we have the resources to do the work that we need to do on our streets and on our sidewalks, which has been a real priority of me on the Boston City Council. And as the chair of Planning, Development, and Transportation, these conversations come to me every day. And what I see in this Accelerator Fund announcement is I see the business community here as excited as we are about something that can really make a difference. I'm thankful to the governor for her leadership. And as I've heard upon talking with folks from the planning department, there are already projects other than this one that are in the kitty, that are ready to go, and that this fund can really support. So grateful to the work of my colleagues, and so grateful to be here. So next we're going to hear from Councilor Enrique Pepin from Charlestown.
Good morning, everyone. For me, it's a very special day because I get to come back home. You know, I don't represent Charleston, but I am from Charleston. I was born and raised here on 57 Polk Street, here in the BHA housing. So, yeah, get up for Charlestown. Woo! You know, it's important to highlight these moments because it's not just about the buildings that go up, but it's about who we're going to place in them, and that's community, and that's residents. Now, I remember when I lived in a building that looked just like that. When my mom would run out of sugar, she would just knock on the door of our neighbor, and vice versa. And that's how you take care of your community, by working with your neighbors. And the fact that now you're going to have even a better looking place to live in, that's going to look like this instead of that, that's the future of Boston. That's the future that we all are striving for. I'm really thankful that the mayor, Mass Housing, decided to go with Charlestown first because obviously it plays a close place in my heart, but the people here deserve it. You guys have been fighting for a long time. I'm very thankful to Mass Housing, the mayor, the administration, BHA, because this is what the city deserves. I'm excited to see this not only go up in Charlestown, but all the way down in my district, where I represent Hyde Park, Roslyn, and Mattapan. Let's keep the momentum going. I'm proud to be a supporter of this. Thank you all for being here. And it's my turn to introduce another kid from the BHA, Councilor at Large Harry Santana.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. My name is Henry Santana, representing all of Boston. Today is a great day. As someone who grew up in Mission Hill, Alice Taylor BHA apartments, this is just a great honor to be here alongside with residents and local officials to take care of our community, to take care of our residents. I first ran, or when I ran for Boston City Council, I wanted to run to represent Boston housing across all the neighborhoods here in the city of Boston. My first order of business on the Boston City Council was filing a hearing order to explore ways to see how we can bring mixed income social housing and that model here into the city of Boston. And I just want to thank my former boss, Mayor Wu, and my other former boss, Administrator Bach, for all their work and making this happen, and everyone else who came before then to make today happen. So we need to take care of our BHA residents. I believe that BHA gave my family and I the opportunity to not just stay here in the city of Boston, but really thrive here in the city of Boston. And we want to make sure and ensure that future residents from all walks of life have that same opportunity here in the city. So thank you very much, and I'll pass it over to my council colleague, Brian Worrell from District 4.
Good morning, everyone. Excited to be here. Want to just first and foremost thank Mayor Wu and my colleagues. I'm also proud to stand alongside with the mayor with the commitment to get shovels in the ground and cranes in the skies, and to make sure that we signal to the rest of the city that Boston is serious about tackling the housing production crisis here in the city of Boston. I'm so grateful for the mayor for including the home ownership initiative in his housing fund. I want to give a big shout out to Administrator Kenzie Bach, Director Kelly, Devin Quirk, and Ruben Cantor for all their work on making this happen. I have a whole long list of shout outs and thank yous. I also want to extend a huge thanks to real estate experts like the Boston Indicators, Lou Finfer, Greg Vasfel, Professor Lisa Alexander at BC Law, Dr. Tatiana Cruz at Matt Simmons, the Forsyth Street Alliance, Katia Vasatola at the San Francisco Housing Accelerator Fund, the advocates like Hillary Pizer at MAHA, the Black and Brown and Men's Boys Commission here in the city of Boston, Armani White at Reclaim Roxbury, Michael Kane of the Mass Alliance of HUD Tenants, John Smith at DSNI, Mimi Ramos at the New England United for Justice, and developers that have made sure and kept production going here in the city of Boston, Donald Alexis and Dariella Villillon Maga, who has built affordable condos and apartments in the same project, Carlos Castillo, and especially our friends at RISE, Herbie Duvernay, and Jim Grossman, for the countless calls and Zoom meetings and all the run-ins and models that you guys have helped during this process. We could not have done this without you guys. We know these pilot projects are going to work, and this is just the beginning. We will build more homeownership units in Boston. When we talk about homeownership, what we're really talking about is stability, ensuring our Boston residents can stay in Boston. It's the young adult looking to make Boston home, the new family looking to stay in the city, the first-time home buyer that grew up in their entire life in Boston wanting to own a part of their city. It's about providing real stability and pathways to economic empowerment. When I was in real estate, I encountered dozens of families moving from renting to buying their own place, only they couldn't find anywhere in Boston. So they headed for Brockton and Randolph. I want to help these families like that to stay in Boston. Brick by brick, pipe by pipe, bedroom by bedroom, we are creating a Boston that is working for our residents. Thank you.
All of that is a very, very, very tough act to follow. Hello, everyone. My name is Addie Grady. I'm a Senior Vice President and Partner at Leggett McCall Properties, and I'm the Executive Director of this project. There's been a lot of thanking here today, but I'm going to assume my role as the director of this project and speak on behalf of our incredible development team, design team, construction team, and our guests from Youth Build that are here today, the future, representing the future of union construction workers, to thank the City Council directly, one by one. Thank you, Councilor Louis-Jean. Thank you, Councilor Coletta Zapata. Thank you, Councilor Durkin. Thank you, Councilor, Pepin, I gotcha. Thank you, Councilor Santana. And thank you, Councilor Worrell. I'll try to keep it quick. I'm pretty emotional today because this really means a lot to me, to my teams, and the residents. This has been as large of a scale and as complex a project as they come, but it represents the best of what a public-private partnership can achieve when we work together with the residents, week after week, for years and years, through the hard stuff and the victories, always respecting each other, being honest with each other, valuing each other. We could not have done this without Nancy, Carla, Tina, Phil, Naomi, and Jenny. The mayor has an incredible repository in her brain to remember the details of this project, so I won't repeat them. But I do just want to highlight some of the core tenets that have driven us through this project to where we are today. Just a couple of words. Equitability. Sustainability. This is the largest passive house project probably in the world when it'll be completed. And accessibility. Accessible to the people who live here, barrier-free access to common spaces and their homes, but also accessible to the broader community to enjoy what this community will become, what this development will become with its open space and its vibrant community. News of this filing of the critical appropriation enables us, our tri-party team, to keep pushing forward with even greater accelerated momentum. See what I did there? To ensure that families who have the right to return can do so without the worry of when. As you can see behind me, we're making great progress on our first building. It's called Stellata. It's named after the Stellata magnolia trees that we were able to preserve on site. With 102 replacement affordable units built with an advanced construction methodology and healthy, sustainable materials and innovative design and construction approaches, these will all drive efficiency and prevent unnecessary delays. We look forward to welcoming our first families coming back to their new homes just after the first of the year. And believe it or not, that's like not that far away. It's like 45 days. Christmas is right around the corner. More importantly, the Housing Accelerator Fund can truly pave the way for the construction of the next building, Building F. It will have a fun name, I promise. It'll be a 9-story, 265-unit mixed-income building, as well as future phases that will enable us to deliver for our next group of returning residents in the timely manner that we envision. Our collective goal is for this redevelopment to improve project by project, building by building, as we move through the phases over the next 8 to 10 years. So thank you again to the counselors, to the CRA, to Danny Ryan and Sal DiDomenico for believing in this, and especially to the mayor for taking the time to be here today and for sharing our belief in this mission. And with that, I will turn it over to Tamara.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tamara Small, CEO of NAIOP Massachusetts, the Commercial Real Estate Development Association, and I'm so thrilled to be here with all of you today. Very special thanks to Mayor Michelle Wu, to Crystal Cornegay of Mass Housing, and to all of the wonderful city and state officials we heard from today. We're really thrilled to be here with NAIOP member Leggett McCall Properties at this remarkable project, which is revitalizing and preserving deeply affordable housing while also creating new market rate housing, upgrading aging infrastructure, and creating a thriving and vibrant community for all. NAIOP was proud to support the creation of the Momentum Fund and the Affordable Homes Act, and we're grateful to the Healy Driscoll administration and Mass Housing for their focus on ensuring the funding can be leveraged quickly. These are challenging times for housing development, and we need every tool in the toolbox to tackle this crisis. NAIOP is also grateful to the City of Boston for its recognition of these challenges and the Mayor's commitment today to assist projects through this innovative funding structure. It's critical that the thousands of units of housing in the pipeline come to fruition and we get more shovels in the ground for the good of our city's residents, our businesses, and our future. Encouraging continued housing production is a critical piece of addressing the housing crisis, and today I am very proud to support the Housing Accelerator Fund. Thank you so much. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Mayor Wu.
Great, thanks. Thank you, everyone, for being with us and for sharing all your thoughts and insights. Why don't we wrap the speaking program, do a quick picture with anyone, all of our partners over here, and then afterwards we can take any media questions off to the side from whoever you need. Thanks for coming.
Is it okay if I put it here? Is this blocking your way?